Waiting seasons can be tough, especially when you've been waiting for what feels like a lifetime. But waiting is something that we experience more than anything else. We wait in lines for a paycheck or package, or even to hear back from someone. So we should definitely learn how to wait well. Of course, it's not easy, but with the understanding of a few things, waiting the right way becomes easier. So, with that being said, let's get transparent. Hey friends, welcome back to Take Up Your Cross with Taj. My name is Taj Najee, and this is where we expose darkness by allowing Jesus to be our light. So let's get transparent. I am in a waiting season. I'm not gonna lie. I want my man. Okay, I pray for him. I don't pray for him as often as I used to because marriage used to be an idol. I'm gonna be 100% honest. You know, we expose darkness here, but I found contentment in my single season as I'm waiting on my kingdom spouse, as I'm waiting on my husband to arrive. Any type of waiting season, I feel like these 3 key things that I've learned can help you. So we're gonna get into that. But before we do, I was sent this amazing children's book and I'm so in love with it, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It's called He's Always With Me, and it's about a little boy who was terrified about a storm, and his dad comes and sings a song to him about how God is always with him. And it was so cute, and I low-key want to keep it for myself even though I don't have kids, because sometimes we need that reminder, like God is always there. But I wanted to share it with you guys because I really enjoyed it. It's super cute, super sweet, straight to the point, and it made me smile when I was reading it. So again, I'll put his information down below, and we're about to get into the video right now. Tip number 1, wait on God while waiting on God. And when I say wait on God, I mean serve God like a waiter or waitress, because in my experience, I was so obsessed with marriage. Like, marriage was literally an idol. I was looking up testimonies on YouTube. I was looking up Christian podcasts of Christian couples and how did y'all meet and do you have a list? I was looking up prayers on how to pray for my husband. Every single time I talked to God, it was about my husband. It was just literally maniacal. I really was obsessed with the idea of having a husband, simply because I've never had a dream car, dream job, dream house, dream career, any of that. I've always fantasized about serving my husband. Like, whatever his job is, I want to help him with that. Like, that's literally what my life has been like, which is why I was always in some type of relationship, because I'm like, it was like my man was my project. It's so sad. But that was like, I've been in this waiting season for a while. But I've found contentment, like I said, and one of those things that I've been doing is really serving God. I always say this in my videos: what you focus on grows. So if you're focused on the fact that you're waiting, you're going to feel like you're waiting for a long time. And you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, this thing hasn't come. And you're going to be counting the days and all this, that, and the third. But if you focus on God and you focus on serving God, you're just going to take it one day at a time. And when I was reading the story of Abraham and Sarah, Abraham was serving God the whole time. And it was Sarah who had the brilliant idea to have her husband sleep with her servant, and she regretted it right after. And God reminded me of a vacation. When you think about a vacation, when you plan the vacation and the date is set, you immediately begin to prep. I need to set my appointments. I need to figure out transportation. I need to figure out my flights, my hotel. Do I need to do my hair? Do I need to do all this stuff? You get your ducks in a row and prepare for what you already know is set. You don't call your friend vacation. No, and that's what I was doing. I was like, God, my husband. I can't wait to be in his arms, God. Ooh, like, he's like, talk about that man one more time. Be like, I'm sorry, God. I just love him and I don't even know who it is. But yeah, think of your waiting season like a vacation. It's the time is set, and at the end of the day, you're going to wait in life more than you do anything else. So until you can steward your waiting periods, your small waiting periods well, you're always going to feel like your big seasons of waiting are just too much to bear. And it's like, no, occupy that time. So again, wait on God. Serve him. Tip number 2. Build trust with God by getting to know him. Here's the thing. I was so used to God's hand. I knew God's hand for sure. Like, anytime I needed something, God, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. And my relationship with him is very surface level because I was always asking him for stuff, but I didn't really know him for myself personally when I first started my walk with God, and I immediately wanted marriage. Like, I don't know what it... I don't know if anybody else like this, but immediately when I was like, okay, God, I'm submitting myself to you, where my husband at? It's like, girl, be for real. He's like, you say you want a man of God and a man who's submitted to God, but you don't even know me, for one. And then 2, you're not submitted to me either. Like, you talk to me every now and again, but every time you talk to me, it's about your husband. And so if I were to even send him, you wouldn't even know it because you don't know me. And I feel like that's what happened with Sarah and Abraham too. Sarah had the bright idea, well, if God promised a son, just sleep with my servant Hagar. That's totally outside of what God would tell her to do. But when your focus is on yourself and your flesh, she had a fleshly moment. And so she had a fleshly outcome. Think about when you trust somebody. Why do you trust them? You get to know them. So in order for you to trust God with whatever it is he's promising you, you have to figure out, who is God? How is his character? When I read the scripture, I think it was Psalm 84:11. But it says, God keeps no good thing from those whose walk is blameless. If something isn't in my life yet, it's not good for me yet. If God says that you have a kingdom spouse, what if that person is dealing with a whole bunch of addictions, or they're in a relationship and you so ready? I've been ready, but the person that God has for you is not. And he would not be a good God if he allowed you to come into their presence and they into yours. And it's not right. It's not good at all for you. When you think about Adam, Eve was not Adam's idea. What did God say? He said, it's not good for a man to be alone. So if it's not good for Adam to be alone and I keep no good thing from him, that's where Eve comes in. So you can find contentment in your waiting season when things haven't come yet by saying, God is the one who sees everything. It may be on the way and we're all limited by time, or I'm not good for them or it, and it or them is not good for me. Number 3, and I believe I saved the best for last. This is the one that really changed the game for me. Make everything about God and God your everything. Every time I was frustrated about something, it was because the intention behind it wasn't being met. So for instance, I was doing comedy for a while. The point behind the comedy was to make people laugh, get a whole bunch of views and a whole bunch of likes and comments. So anytime I got the views, likes, comments, and all that stuff, I was fine. I was cool. I was like, yeah, we lit. But I eventually got bored because it's like, okay, I know for a fact I'm going to get this. I know I'm going to get that. But on the flip side, when I didn't get those things, I was very frustrated because it wasn't meeting the expectation that I set. But imagine if the purpose behind everything you do was to glorify God, even your waiting season. Because with Sarah and Abraham, the older they got, the more impossible their situation seemed. But you got to realize God loves showing up and showing out. Like, he loves when it literally looks like it's humanly impossible. He's like, that's when I step in, because of course I'm going to get the glory. Sarah and Abraham cannot tell anybody, and nobody would even believe them. Even if they did, they would not be able to tell anybody that they were able to have a child on their own. They were both old, rusted, busted, and can't be trusted. And God's like, yeah, your waiting season not only taught you patience and faithfulness, you were able to gain the fruits of the Spirit, but it also glorified me, because at the end of the day, you can't say that came from you. I did that. Sarah was barren. That's why she wanted the child. So because the reason behind her wanting a child was selfish, she made selfish moves. So whatever your intention behind what it is that you're doing, whatever that is, you're going to move in that way. If the intention is to make money and you don't make money, you're not going to be content. You're going to be very frustrated. If the intention behind what it is that you put out is, I want the views and the likes, when you don't get the views and you don't get the likes, you're going to feel discouraged. So how about you make everything, I want to glorify God. When I put this video out, I just want to be able to glorify God. If one person sees it, cool. If no person sees it, it's fine. If no one likes it, if no one comments, the point of it was to glorify God. So I'm cool. It glorified God. I did my job. That can never be something that you get tired of. I never get tired of glorifying God. So like I said, when you make everything about God and then God your everything, you find contentment. When I was a kid, cereal boxes used to come with prizes or toys in it. We would always want the cereal box that had the prize in it because we wanted the prize. If God is the prize in everything that you do, you're always going to be content because he's always with you. He never leaves you, never forsakes you. You can never get too much of God. Like, God is always going to be there. So you have to get to a place to where God is literally enough. If God does nothing else, I will be fine because I have him. So with that being said, ask yourself, am I stewarding my waiting season well? Do I need to begin to serve God and focus so much on him that it doesn't even feel like I'm waiting? Do I need to build more trust with God? And then what is the intention behind what it is that I want. What's the reason behind the desire? Do I want it because of a very superficial reason? Or do I want it because it's going to glorify God? So, as you deny yourself, take up your cross and follow Jesus. Expose your darkness by allowing him to be your light. And until next time, bye friends.